Hello and welcome to Midday Report, coming to you live from Warsaw. I'm Saria Strzemska. And we start with Germany. The country's domestic intelligence has labeled the far-right AfD party an extremist entity. It was officially classified as a threat to democracy. The AfD party came second in February's recent parliamentary elections. The suspicion that the AfD is working against the free democratic order of the state has been confirmed, said the German Office for the Protection of the Constitution. According to German public broadcaster ARD, an internal report cites violations of core constitutional principles such as human rights and the rule of law. Classifying the AfD as an extremist organization will enable the authorities to use covert methods to monitor closely the activities of the party and possibly gather evidence to consider whether the far-right party should be banned. Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić says he is prepared to accept any penalties or sanctions from the EU for his upcoming attendance at a controversial military parade in Moscow. The annual Victory Day parade will take place on May 9th. And now we're joined live by our EU correspondent Angela Skujins, who has more details. Hello, Angela, good to see you. So what makes this visit so contentious? And of course, who else is planning on traveling to Russia?
Yes, so we know so far that the Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico, as well as Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko, are scheduled to make an appearance at that May 9th military parade in Moscow, which will take place on Friday next week. So we're inching closer to that date. But what makes it so contentious? This is a date that's meant to mark the anniversary of when Nazi Germany capitulated to the Red Army, ending World War II. However, it has been spun into a propagandist exercise. Last year, Russian President Vladimir Putin thanked Russian troops for their ongoing invasion of Ukraine. We also know that Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić has not attended in the last couple of years, with no formal comment there, but many see it as an opportunity for him to distance himself from that leader. This clearly is not the case. We asked the European Commission earlier this week about the potential consequences for that leader to attend the military parade next week. They said they had warned him during a recent visit. Since then, Vučić has doubled down on his intent to go next week to the military parade. So TVP World asked the Commission for a response this week and what those specific consequences would be. Let's take a listen to what they had to say.
Our position is well known. No business as usual with Russia. We will not now speculate on possible consequences.
So the next thing to look out for is which leaders will go to the military parade on Friday next week. We have also heard Ukrainian officials instead inviting those European leaders to travel to the capital of that war-torn country as a show of solidarity, as well as to celebrate Europe Day. There is high speculation that the EU High Representative Kaja Kallas will also be in attendance. However, that has not been confirmed on the record. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see which politicians go to which party in which capital. But that's all from me in Brussels. I'll send it back to you in Warsaw.
Angela Skujins, thank you, much appreciated. Meanwhile, in yet another executive order, American President Donald Trump is seeking to cut off federal funding to U.S. public broadcasters, PBS and NPR. The president accused the stations of biased coverage and spreading left-wing propaganda. The order instructs the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and other federal agencies to cease federal funding and requires that they also work to root out indirect sources of public financing for NPR and PBS. In a statement released last month, PBS's CEO and president, Paula Kerger, said that the Trump administration's attempt to rescind funding for public media would, quote, disrupt the essential service PBS and local member stations provide to the American people. The move against PBS and NPR comes amid the Trump administration efforts to dismantle the U.S. Agency for Global Media, including Voice of America and Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty. Trump's media crackdown has, however, been facing some pushback. A federal judge ordered the Trump administration to restore Voice of America's funding and reinstate its employees and contractors, while another court sided with the AP in its lawsuit to get access restored after it was banned from the Oval Office over its refusal to refer to the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America.
National Public Radio, and I welcome the opportunity.
And now for the latest from Ukraine. 29 people have been injured in an overnight Russian airstrike on the city of Zaporizhzhia. Russian drones hit several targets at least 10 times, sparking multiple fires across the city. Multiple homes and residential buildings were damaged as a result of the attack. Zaporizhzhia region governor Ivan Fedorov reports that a local university and an infrastructure facility were also damaged in the strike. The emergency service initially said one person was killed, but later revised the statement, saying that a man believed to be dead regained consciousness. More than 100 personnel participated in the rescue operations. The minerals deal between the United States and Ukraine will strengthen the economic partnership between the two countries, U.S. State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce told reporters at the White House. Her comments come after the two sides signed an agreement late on Wednesday.
It is a terrific deal. I think that it is, and again, it's the U.S.-Ukraine Reconstruction Investment Fund, and it involves much more than just the critical minerals. And I think some of the, certainly what I think Ukraine understands and what we intend is that this is not just a financial arrangement. This is a bonding between two countries that will make a difference for a nation, certainly in Ukraine's situation where they have a friend, and the rest of the world will notice that when you have a friend like the United States and when we are in business with you and in your nation, it creates a stronger national security for everyone involved. And certainly in this case, when it comes to the profits that are generated, that is then reinvested into Ukraine for the rebuilding dynamic that is going to obviously have to happen. It's a time where, as the secretaries noted just a few days ago, as I mentioned to you, as a matter of fact, on Tuesday, that it's time for both of the nations involved in this conflict to come up with concrete proposals about how this conflict ends. And this relationship now with Ukraine reinforces the commitment of the United States to that nation. It's for the world, it's better off. It also reminds the American people and the world that support of another country can take many forms, and that national security can be reinforced in many different ways. And that's what this arrangement accomplishes.
Chinese social media giant TikTok has been fined a staggering €530 million for breaching the European Union's data privacy laws. Our correspondent Alex Kadir has been following the story and joins me now. Alex, good to see you. So what are these allegations against TikTok?
Well, the allegation is that TikTok did not sufficiently protect the private personal data of its users. That's according to the Irish data protection watchdog, who has leveled this fine of €530 million at the social media titan. Of course, TikTok is under increasing scrutiny from the European Union more generally, particularly when it comes to the upcoming Romanian elections, which had to be redone because of alleged bias on the platform. And, of course, that platform being investigated by the EU for those biases. Now, the Irish Data Protection Commission, which has levelled this fine using a different piece of legislation, says that the personal data of users that is being sent to China by TikTok cannot be protected from Chinese government surveillance laws, implying, therefore, that personal data from users across the European Union, be it here in Brussels or over where you are in Warsaw, could be given indirectly because of Chinese surveillance laws to the Chinese government. That has been a concern around TikTok for months, if not years now, and certainly that is a big concern for this Irish data protection watchdog. This comes, of course, in the context of other fines levelled by the EU this time at big tech firms, €500 million for Apple, €200 million for Meta. Those were for breaches of the Digital Markets Act to challenge those companies' monopolies in the European economy. But certainly this fine, levelled by the Irish data protection watchdog, is the first of its kind levelled by Ireland, and certainly will open a lot of questions about how safe TikTok is for users in Europe.
Absolutely, this is deeply unsettling. Alex Kadir reporting from Brussels. Thank you. And now on a domestic note, May 2nd marks Polish National Flag Day. Poles all around the country put up national flags outside their homes and attend events celebrating the holiday. The Polish presidential couple also participate in some of the official celebrations. Our reporter Karolina Stolzman was on the ground in Warsaw and has more.
May 2nd is a day of celebration in Poland. Now, the official part of the celebrations regarding the Polish National Flag Day take place here in Warsaw in the Castle Square, like the raising of the flag, followed with speeches from Polish Defense Minister Władysław Kosiniak-Kamysz, and a parade also attended by the Polish President Andrzej Duda. But celebrations take part all over the country. There are, of course, some official celebrations, like I said, like the raising of the flag. There are parades, there are marches, but there are also some unconventional ways that people celebrate the Polish National Flag Day, such as picnics, concerts, and even races. May 2nd has been deliberately chosen as a date to mark this holiday, mainly because it is preceded and followed by national holidays, May 1st, of course, being Labor Day, and May 3rd here in Poland celebrated as the Constitution Day. But there is also historical significance to this day. On May 2nd in 1945, the soldiers of the First Polish Army raised the white and red Polish flag in Berlin, in the German Nazi-controlled capital, and they raised it on the Berlin Victory Column and on the Reichstag. Now, while attending the events here in the Castle Square, I spoke to some of the people and asked them what is the importance of the Polish flag to them.
These are the national colours. We're attached to them. It's our love for Poland. This is a very important national symbol and something that every Polish family should cherish.
This is patriotism, our national identity. It represents future generations and whole history, what our grandparents, parents, and past generations did for Poland to make it what it is today.
Now, for some official explanation of the colors of the Polish flag, they of course correspond to the national emblem, which pictures a white eagle in a crown on a red backdrop. Now, the white in the flag symbolizes loyalty, humility, and nobility, while the red symbolizes bravery, courage, and sacrifices that the Polish nation had to make over the centuries. Now, all of these values are of course very important to the Poles now. They were important in the past, and the generations now hope to pass them on to the future generations. From Warsaw for TVP World, Karolina Stolzman.
The countdown for the European Song Contest is on. Just 2 weeks to go until the grand final on Saturday, May 17th. Fans rallied behind Poland star Justyna Steczkowska as she headed off to Switzerland on Friday morning to get ready for the big show. Take a look.
I'm at Warsaw's Chopin Airport, where Poland's entrant for the Eurovision Song Contest, Justyna Steczkowska, is being given a send-off ahead of the competition in Basel. She's representing the country with her song Gaia, which is a tribute to Mother Earth. I spoke to her briefly, and she told me about how she wants Poland to be seen by Eurovision viewers.
The song contains both Slavic agmas and our Slavic DNA, which is extremely important, our Slavic energy, which is why I sing the song in Polish language and only part of it is in English. This is very important because for me Eurovision is showing diversity in Europe, what is the best in each country. That is why I am very happy that some nations are returning to singing in their native language. Each language has its own energy that is extremely important. I think that Eurovision is great to watch when it shows what is best. Not that everyone is like the English, Americans or someone else, but everyone is themselves, and that is beautiful.
Justyna's been in the music business for 30 years now. She's had 19 albums and done countless tours, and she's loved across the country. And this is not the first time she's represented Poland at the Eurovision Song Contest. In 1995, she sang the song Sama. Poland, though, hasn't won the competition. It's placed second in 1994 in its debut year, and it's placed twice in the top 10 in the intervening years. This year, 37 countries will be competing in the 69th edition of the Eurovision Song Contest to an audience of millions. Justyna Steczkowska will be performing her song Gaia on May the 13th. Fans here and fans all across Poland will be backing her all the way. John Todd for TVP World.
And of course, we're keeping our fingers crossed for Justyna. And with this, we conclude this midday report. Thank you for watching, and please stay tuned for more.